Shalom, first and foremost, we give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh, Divine to the apostles, bishops, elders of that millstone who do rule and teach us. Shalom, Charlie Sisha, Akim, Christians, truth, on faith, all the four corners of the earth. Shalom to the Ephesians, your sisters, the Aqua from listening, but don't be it. To the husband home as well as someone that scattered abroad. I say shalom. Come back at you with another lesson. Lord willing, our heart desires to listen. We had a fun. Through the spirit and power, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh. This lesson I'm going to some quick one through the spirit, dealing with, war, not stopping, man. So you've already seen, with Trump trying to do the blockade, ships of Chinese and Iranian ships are still, sailing through. Now you even got talks, if I'm not mistaken, with China. Yes, put my phone on sleep, but yeah, man, ships flowing through. Still got, the tolls going around, with Iran putting a toll on ships passing through that, Strait of Hormuz, which Trump labeled it Strait of Iran. But I was about to say, talks about China closing the Scarborough route. I forgot the full name of it. But that's like up to 30% of global trade flows through that passage, that waterway, that China controls. I don't know if they officially closed it yet or not. I know it was in talks, and it was, I had seen people talking about it and posting it, so that's another percentage of the global trade, being taken away, from the market, but just the spirit, is war, man, and that's what I wanted to make a quick and short lesson about is, we're not in the time of peace and safety, and we went into that, camp. I'm sure, from Elder Apostle Torn on down, all brothers, some apostles, bishops, elders, and brothers on down, talking about the same thing, man. We're not in a time of peace and safety, of this war, going back. Why? Because you see all these other nations, man, globally have been pulled in, man. Now it's just not Ukraine, Russia, or just like Ukraine and no, man, because these all these different nations are affected because what their businesses, their commerce, their economy is being affected, by the Strait of Hormuz, man. So now you're seeing a lot of these nations' leaders coming up against Trump, and siding with Iran and Russia, which is prophecy, as well, man. You see Ford and a lot of these American companies, boosting their, shifting their automation of, their vehicles into military vehicles, man. Why? Because it's the time of war, man. You bring your pruning hooks into spears, Buffett paraphrasing Joel 3:10, man. These are the times, that we in, man. You got nations like Russia, China being guards unto smaller nations. Not the weak, as it says in Joel. They saying I'm strong, man, because you got these big nations that's, backing them up, man. Like Iran, like brother had said. I think that was Tazamach went into it. But, they said the Russian soldiers was like, hey, man, Putin was like that too, if I'm not mistaken. You put boots on the ground with American soldiers, man, we're going to put boots in Iran as well, with Russian soldiers, man. You know, so we're not in a time of, like, look at the negotiations, the so-called ceasefire. That fumbled in a day, man. Really ain't even fumbled in a day. It been fumbled, man. Because Amalek, I seen when Trump had posted that tweet, he was like, and Bibi cannot bomb Lebanon, and this is by Donald J. Trump or whatever. It was like Amalek said under the comments, like, who made you? Who made you our leader? And that's what these Amaleks feel like, man, because that's the spirit that the Lord then put them in, man. They ain't, they're trying to make that greater Israel, man. And they, like they said already, they coming, like that guy had said, they want Turkey, as well, man. So the times that we in, it's not the time for negotiations and pieces and well, let's just bygones be bygones. Nah, man. Much blood has been shed on both sides, and it's time for, as the scriptures say, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, to work, man. It's time for the Lord to, to get busy, not only with Esau, Edom, but with all these wicked and sinful nations, man. But I'm gonna get this, and because you see Trump, go back, really, I get this in Psalms. Because all Trump is doing is the work, of the elites, man. Even though he's coming out and saying to the American public on Twitter or True Social, whatever, this war is won, this war is over. How is this war over when you pass it, the draft, for December, man? How is this war is over when you telling these companies like Ford, GM, and things of that nature to bolster, your military automation vehicles, man? So all what Trump is doing is the bidding of these elites, man. He's just a puppet. Psalms 55 and verse 21, it says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war is in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Yeah, man, or the war would be over about 2 weeks or maybe 2 months, or what he was going. He's one time. Then he was like, he went through the timeline of all of, he was like World War I and World War II, or how long they last, and why? Because it's not the time of let's just settle our differences and come to the table and hash it out diplomatically, with laws and regulations and you can come, because then he had said in which the president of Iran said, man, that shit is false. Everything that Trump then said in the last 48 hours was false, man. Saying they was gonna send some scientists over there to regulate the uranium and things of that nature. The president of Iran already said that's false, man. What Trump is doing, like, people are starting to notice, he's doing a lot of market manipulation and things of that nature, man, saying the war is won so the oil can, in which his family, is winning high on anyway, man, winning big time money with that market manipulation, which is, illegal to do. But hey, man, we in the land of Esau, Edom, man. Well, illegal is legal and legal is is not, man. But just making a that point of, it's continuing, man. This war, it ain't stopping, man. Amalek, what BBC basically said, man, we ready, man. When they first, when the ceasefire, when it was officially a so-called ceasefire, whatever, then BB came out right back and said, hey, man, we got our finger on the trigger dealing with Lebanon. And then even after that, he was still bombing Lebanon, man. And then that's when Iran, they said scratch that, man. Ain't no more ceasefire because at first, Lebanon was in it. Then now, so it's all just a shit show, man. But at the end of